live. There we go. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so very much for being here. Everyone that's tuning in at this time, we greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. What is up, Jake? How are you feeling?
Good. 3-1. 3-1. I could not be
Feeling pretty.
not be any worse.
Feeling pretty sassy. I am wonderful, like you said. 3-1. Not the prettiest of wins, but hey, a win is a win. We'll take it. Now,
what?
Job's not finished.
Favorite. That was my favorite game of the whole. That was my favorite game of the whole entire.
It was.
I'll tell you why in a minute, but yeah,
it was definitely a great game. It was definitely a great game to watch, but from like a Laker diehard thing, like if you watch the stream that I do with the on As It Stands Lakers with I stream the game not on TV, but it's just me and then like the box scores. But man, I was freaking out. It's definitely probably some good entertainment for people. They haven't seen it, but yeah, it's just again, I mean, that's playoff basketball, right? That grind, that grit, going back and forth, trying to one up each other. You know, you have the Memphis Grizzlies whose backs against the wall. They're doing everything they can to like not lose, right? So I do. It's gonna be interesting. But Lakers job's not finished. Gotta go, ideally, and go into Memphis and get that win. You know, there's no. I wouldn't bet the house on it just because again, Memphis is the best home team in the league. Their backs are against the wall. They cannot lose that game. There's still concerns about Lakers and their consistency and their urgency to show up. This is going to be a real test. But I believe if the Lakers show up, I think they win that game. But I think it's also very likely that they win in Game 6 in LA, which we talked about it. Game, as I said, 6 games. We'd win 1 in Memphis. We'd win our 2 home games, and then we would likely close out in LA because I don't think Memphis is going to be able to win a home game. But yeah, I mean, what are your general thoughts? And then we'll dive into like the ins and outs of like the players and stuff.
So a couple of things actually. So looking at the last game, I have a couple of like interesting things that I found interesting. Our defense, like our defense, like the intensity on defense, like just the overall hustle of like, hey guys, no one is getting any easy buckets. Like, right, you got Vanderbilt like throwing stuff out the building. You got like LeBron getting up there. You got, like AD, like the defensive intensity, like especially in like quarters 1 and 2. But then in the third quarter, like things got a little wonky because we changed the leads a couple times. But quarter for the first half, like our defense was really, really good. Like I really like that. And then just the overall like communication, but like it was so like a lot of plays that you saw like with like Reeves and LeBron and like throwing the lob and things like that. A lot of it was just like very smooth and like it's just like, hey, like we've been playing with these guys for like 10 years, like just the overall chemistry was super, super sweet. But my goodness, we could not find an answer for Devin, like for Bane. Oh my goodness, that right there, like like
it also here's the thing too though, like about that, because it's a good point because a lot of people brought that up, but also you got to keep in mind like it took them 29 shots. Like 29 shots, I could probably get 30. You know what I mean? Like you only have to make half of those, right? Like
I was gonna say, it's hard, yeah.
If he did that on like 15 shots, I'd be like, man, like he was just chucking just for the sake of chucking. But I mean, it was a better.
When he got hot though, and when he got on his little like streak, when he got on his little like credit,
he was the only one that was
because he was consistent there for a minute. Yeah.
He was the only one that was able to generate real offense and scoring, right? Like that mid-range really opened up because the Lakers were doing a great job of packing the paint and forcing Memphis to shoot the 3, which Memphis is not a good 3-point shooting team. They're not terrible, but they're not great. Like they're not the Warriors good, right? So they were basically, that was their goal, is like make the guys beat them. But because of that, it kept freeing up that little like 15 to like 17 footer, and Baines was just hitting that. He just kept hitting it, and they just kept giving him a steady diet of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, keep going. I
Oh
just
no, no,
wanted
no,
to
no, no.
highlight that.
Yeah, no, you're good. But yeah, no, that was like a huge, yeah, that I was like, man, ugh. But yeah, no, just the overall intensity. No, I liked it. I think going into Memphis, I think we actually take that Memphis game. I think we do. I think we take the Memphis game. You could just look at Memphis. Memphis is, yeah, they're shook. They're for sure shook. No, yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna come down like another close game, but I think we take it probably at the very end, kind of like how this like last game went. The reason this was like one of my favorite games is because like I feel like out of all the games that I've seen from this series, just from my perspective, I think everybody besides that, I mean, I loved game one. Game one was sweet. I like game one, but I just saw like intensity and everybody was like really, really bought in and like everybody like knew their assignment, knew what they're supposed to be doing. Could we have been a little bit more commanding, in control of the game? Yeah, but I don't know. I really like that. Like that showed me a lot. I think that when we get to the tougher teams, we can use something from that game, like that game that we just played. We can take some good and like positive things from it and use that because yeah, that yeah, man, that was
Yeah,
a proud Laker fan, like a proud Laker fan moment right there.
yeah. I mean, you're never going to play again. It's playoff basketball. It's a grind. It's and something that I mentioned in the video that I made today, and I actually want to make a video just dedicated to that because I think it's something that really needs to be highlighted. Like Memphis is the best defensive team we will see till the finals. Like Memphis is really good defensively. They were like eighth or seventh or something like that in the league in total defense.
Hmm.
There were stretches where they were like number one or number two overall. Like this is a very good defensive team, and they're also able to defend Anthony Davis in a way that none of the other teams we face going forward will be able to. Because one, they have the defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson, right? And they also have Tillman, who he's not a great defender, but he's a big, physical, strong guy. So they were just laying those two on Anthony Davis. They've done it all series, and AD's having to fight over those guys.
Well, I was gonna say, and that's why he hasn't been able to have the monster game like yet
Yeah.
in the series. But go ahead, yeah,
Also, on top of that, they have the reason they can do that is they have the perimeter defenders to keep guys modest and force the Lakers to shoot threes. But that's also why you're seeing Austin Reeves be able to get into the interior and Struder be able to get into the interior. They're living with that. They're basically saying, we're going to keep Anthony Davis from dominating us, and we're going to make other guys beat us. And the Lakers have. Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, D'Lo was Super Saiyan D'Lo yesterday. I mean, the dude saved the game. Literally saved the game. He made what 3 straight threes. If it wasn't for that, we lose that game hands down.
yeah,
Because Memphis was on a run. We had no. It seemed like we had no answer. They were absolutely killing us. Bane starts going off, all that stuff, and it's just. And then D'Lo comes in, hits back to back to back threes, and all of a sudden we're up 2. And it was like, whoa! Like
yeah,
when nobody else was scoring. So that was just massive, which you got to credit Darvin Ham for bringing him in because D'Lo was not having a good game prior to that. But
yeah,
he did in the third. He did. I actually think, and I have a video coming out at 8 p.m. It's scheduled, but in that video, I broke down D'Lo's game. In that third quarter, he scored like 6 straight points or 7 straight points, something like that, for the Lakers to start that third quarter. He had didn't miss a shot. And then he got fouled again, which put him in foul trouble again, which I think if he never got into that foul trouble, he might have went off. He
yeah,
might have kept scoring. Because I mean, he scored like 6 points in the first minute and a half or something like that. So,
yeah,
and then we saw what he did in the fourth quarter, and it pushed him to 17. So I mean, he scored like 12 of his 12 points in the third and fourth quarter, or third and fourth quarter, something like that. Or more than that. I think it was like 14 in the third or fourth quarter. But my point is like he might have kept going if he didn't get into foul trouble.
yeah,
But and look, I mentioned this in my video, so I don't want to go too much into it. Everyone, you can go watch the video after this live stream. But like one of the things that I talked about, and the reason I think you got to give Ham credit is like he took out Rui Hachimura. And Rui didn't have a good shooting game, but he was still really good defensively. Still did a lot of things great. And like there was like even in the live stream, like when I'm watching it, I was like, why are you taking out Rui? Like I'm okay with D'Lo coming into the game, but why are you taking out Rui? And it was a great decision. it turned out right. But that's what I talk about. Like that's why I say like none of us know more than the coach. We're like many of us think we do. We think we know what Darvin Ham should and shouldn't do, but he's the one that's there with these guys day in and day out, every waking hour. You know, he's the guy that's there, that's running the schemes, that knows his players, that knows what they're capable of, that knows what they can do, and he knows that D'Lo isn't afraid of the moment. That D'Lo can come into the game and have a big moment, and he did. He literally saved. Very likely the postseason because we lose that game without a doubt. We lose that game. We couldn't score, and Memphis was just killing us at that point. And D'Lo came into the game, great adjustment, came into the game, and it just took over. And he probably would have continued, but then he got that cheap little foul on Baines, which I hope the refs aren't this bad for the Lakers when we move forward. I really do.
But it's for me, it's the lack of consistency with the refs. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like, hey, like, you know, it's not like, hey, we're not gonna give you this one this turn. You're gonna get it next turn. No, it's more like there's a whole bunch of fouls that aren't called, but then in crucial moments, a foul is called that that really should have been called. And it was like,
dude, there were several. I mean, even like there was a play where Anthony Davis.
Poor AD, he's just down there on the post, dude, like
AD's getting hammered,
tugged on and beat on, and like there's nothing being like it's crazy.
Nothing. Well, there was a play where AD had the ball, where he LeBron like threw it up, he went and got it, and went up to go dunk on it, and Triple J literally grabbed his shoulder and like around his neck area and pulled him down, and they called the foul, but they didn't even check it. Like that's the rule says it's above the head and neck area. It doesn't say, oh, if it was, and he didn't like, it wasn't like he went for the, like he grabbed his shoulder and grabbed over by his neck and pulled him down. That should have been looked at as a flagrant. The problem is that, I think, I don't know this for sure. Let's put our tinfoil cap on for a minute. But I think Triple J, who is the defensive player of the year this year, I think that the NBA does not want him fouling out every game, because if you watch those games, he should be fouling out every game. And what's funny is he's second in the league.
You can't do that though, because it like ruins good basketball. That
look, I don't mind don't call the little tic tac stuff, but you can't call D'Lo's sixth foul on like a phantom call or a little bump that didn't affect the shot or didn't do anything, and then go down and not call a literal slaughter on Anthony. Like, again, like you said, the consistency. There's no consistency. Like, what is it? What are we doing here? Like, what is there? And a lot of it, I don't understand how a guy who is second in the league in fouls, all of a sudden can't draw a foul. Literally, he's second in the league of fouls and is averaging 2.5, 3 fouls per game. It makes no sense. But you look at Karl Anthony Towns, who leads the league in fouls, not by very much, but he's number one, and then Triple J's number 2. Karl Anthony Towns is fouling out every other game. He fouled out in the last game. He had 5 in the game. He's averaging 5 fouls a game. I understand when it comes down to your 6th foul. The refs, they don't want to. They know. Okay, this guy has a 6th foul. I don't want to.
Like you're gonna be
get this guy out of the game. I don't want to be.
You're gonna be a little bit more lenient. Yeah,
unless it's something clearly blatant. But there is some stuff that's just blatant. Like or even the thing where Triple J hit who was a Schroeder, hit Schroeder in the nuts, and they reviewed it and they said it wasn't a flagrant. They said it was above the waistline. How do you hit some? Like, was Schroeder's tucked into his stomach? Like, did he have it tucked in? I mean, we've all done it where you tuck it into the waistband, right? especially in like high school and stuff, you know, and you got to get up and you got to go in front of the class and you're a kid with all these hormones. It happens. We've all been there. We've all done that. But you're telling me he got hit in the nuts and they said that he got hit in the chest? I mean, is
Oh,
Schroeder's got the Eiffel Tower, huh? That dude's just up to his neck, huh? Like, what is going on here? And like, okay, if you don't want to call like I didn't want him to get ejected or anything like that. I didn't want anything
yeah,
major, but you still got to call the call. It doesn't say like, oh, like there's just all these little things that seem to continuously fall into Memphis's wheelhouse.
yeah.
And you know, and it's insane to me. Like, especially when you're in LA, like, okay, you're in Memphis, the Memphis calls, okay, fine. I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
home whistle's a real thing, especially in the playoffs. Fine. But the Lakers aren't even getting a home whistle in the league. And it's like, I don't know if it's just like the disparity and they're just like, oh, we don't want to have this major disparity or whatever. But the Lakers' free throw disparity is because of the way that they play the game of basketball. It has nothing to do with other teams. Like, other teams are shooting 33s a game. The Lakers aren't. The Lakers are 26 in 3-point attempts. Like, but they're like second in interior scoring. So there's your disparity. One team attacks the basket and does everything physically in the paint, and another team shoots threes all game. That's what it is. You know, it's ridiculous. But what do you think?
No. I agree with you. It's really sad when like you can clearly see that the refs are leaning one way, and I feel like that's what they did for the majority of like this game. There was a couple games in the series, and it's like I don't understand though. I do agree with you. Why like all right, you're already in Memphis. You get the Memphis whistles, but then you go to LA, it's like you're still getting Memphis whistles in LA. Why? Like, you know what I mean? So like, and I don't know, it makes you think like, dang, yeah, tinfoil hat. Like, does does the NBA have a like
It's just if you're gonna call tic tac fouls, call the tic tac
yeah.
fouls both ways. If you're gonna call, if you're only gonna call a certain thing, then fine, call it a certain thing. Like, you gotta be consistent. That's my problem, is lack of consistency, and it just seems very apparent for the Grizzlies. But sorry, go on, keep going.
No, and another thing is too, like my thing is like that's why like when refs will like talk to players and give them kind of like a communication, like, hey, like, because you see them talking all the time, but then it's like if you say the wrong thing, you get a tech, you know what I mean? So like I feel like there should be some type of like equal communication, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like when like AD did get that flagrant, like when they did call that flagrant, when he was like wrapping him around the shoulder or whatever, it's like, okay, like explain to us, how is that not a flagrant foul? You know what I mean? Like, give us something, because if not, then it's just like, all right, cool. Like you're, obviously you're leaning one way here. You're a little biased, but no, it sucks because you don't want to see that. Because it's funny too, because it's happened across the whole league. If you like some of the other games, it's weird. It's happening across like the entire league. And
the
I'm
ref
like,
all season, the refs have been terrible. Not even with just the Lakers. I mean, in general, it's just been a really bad year for refs.
Like, well, yeah, like even in this last game, I just noticed a couple plays too, like with LeBron. Like LeBron, there was a few fouls. Like LeBron, he had drove in, he clear foul, didn't get called. Ja actually too. There was a couple, and that's what I will say. I'll give them the credit for. There was a couple fouls I would say Ja should have got called for, and I don't never want to say that because it's the other team, obviously, but there's a couple fouls. I'm like, okay, that was probably a foul, but they didn't call it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's weird this year. I do, but we talked about this at the beginning of the season. Like the refs, even in the beginning of the season, it's just a weird year for refs. It's really strange. That's what makes me wonder, like, are they changing the officiating rules? Well, like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it is going forward. Again, I don't mind. I mean, obviously, you don't want the refs to dictate and control games. Obviously, you don't want the refs saying, okay, like, tonight we're going to impact the game. You don't want that. Like, I'm okay. Like, if you want to just stay out of it entirely, fine, stay out of it entirely. But it just seems, but also, it just looks like a lot of the things are regarding Triple J. Like I said, the flagrant, right? Yeah. That should have been a flagrant on Dennis Schroeder. If it was like Dylan Brooks or something like that, it probably would have been. But it's Triple J who's the defensive player of the year. Do we really want to eject him out of this game? Like, it's stuff like that I just again like when you're looking at the game, it just seems like Jaren Jackson has a different whistle. It's just what it looks like, personally. It just looks like they have a completely different that he has a different whistle than anyone else, and we'll see how it goes going forward.
Yeah.
But to kind of tie it back to the beginning is that you know, we're not going to see another defense like this till the playoffs. And that is huge for the Lakers because they won't have to, because Anthony Davis will be freed up more, because again, whether we play him, like Memphis is really well equipped for Anthony Davis for the defensive scheme that they're playing. Pack the paint. You got Dylan Brooks and Desmond Baines and John Morant who can just kind of guard the perimeter, and then you just leave Vando, leave Rui. Sorry, I blanked on that.
Yo, and that really quick, just a quick point. Vando's making him pay on that perimeter too.
Dude, he did. He had our first 7 points, and he scored like 15 of our first like 30 or whatever. But that's their game plan. I mean, Desmond Bain told you what the game plan was. Game 1, he said we're gonna leave Rui open. Like that's what the game plan was. Stop Anthony Davis, keep Anthony Davis modest, and guard everyone else, right? And we've
proven that if you try to stop our best player, if you try to stop our best player,
Anthony Davis should be the best player. There's nothing wrong.
I was kind of teetering back and forth between him and LeBron, but we've proven that hey, if you stop our best player, we still got all these other answers for you. Like now, Vando's starting, to get sharper with 3-point shooting. We got Reeves, obviously. We got Hachimura. Obviously, you got LeBron. You got D'Lo. Like who, we've proven that it really doesn't matter who you shut down. But the only thing is, we have to be able to keep this consistent night in and night out. Because who's to say that whoever we play next, that's gonna what's the Golden State series at right now? 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. Which really quick, just hot take really quick. After they tie that up, I know you said that we probably won't play Golden State, but I have a strange feeling that we might. I don't know.
Well, now De'Aaron Fox broke his finger.
Well,
so Warriors probably win it now. But look, I would rather play the Warriors. I think we dominate the Warriors. I really do. Because you know what the Warriors game plan is. We match up really well to that. They have no one to stop us. And I would start in that series, I would start Schroeder and D'Lo. Because the 2 times we played Golden State in that matchup, and one of them was at home. And I think we were the last team to beat Golden State at home. So, but the reason, one of the big impacts in both of those games was Schroeder and D'Lo playing together. That was before we moved Beasley in, and then the other game, and then like LeBron was out. But we beat them both times because they couldn't. It was too hard for them to guard D'Lo and Schroeder because it's 2 completely different paces. So it's like, and they don't have good defensive guys. Like Draymond is great defensively, but he's probably going to have his hand full with Anthony Davis. Curry isn't going to be able to guard D'Lo or Schroeder, and Klay Thompson isn't the guy he once was defensively, so he's not going to be able to guard D'Lo or Schroeder. And then Wiggins is going to have his handfuls with LeBron James, so our guard play is going to be huge. And they're not very good defensively. They can't win on the road, so all we have to do is win 1 road game in Golden State, which we've already proven we can do. We did it, and so I just I would love to play. I'd love to play Golden State because I just think LeBron knows them so well too. Like LeBron knows him. LeBron knows Golden State probably better than any coach, any team, because he's had to play them every year for the last 10 years in the finals, and in the regular season. So he knows what it takes. He's historically dominated them. Anthony Davis, go look up Anthony Davis.
I want to say dominated.
Anthony Davis destroys it because they don't have anyone's size. That's also a series. That's also a series you could probably play Mo Bamba, right? Because Mo, like this series, it's a terrible matchup for him But that series, he can hold his own against Kevon Looney or Draymond. Like you don't really have to worry about that. They're not like these big offensive threats, right? And so yeah, I mean, I just think like I would rather play the Warriors personally. I just think we match up to them well. I think we can beat them. And look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying we're just going to walk. It's going to be a sweep or a gentleman sweep or anything like that. Series probably goes 6 or 7 games, but
Yeah.
I think we beat them because look, I think we win all 3 of our home games. So as long as we win all 3 of our home games, at worst we go to 7 games.
I think the Warriors this year are way better on the road than they are at home. I believe.
The Warriors
Don't
you mean at home on the road? They're terrible on the road. Yeah. So as
no
long as
this.
we win,
Okay, yeah.
as long as we win our 3 home games, which we should. Again, they're the worst. They're the worst road team in the league outside of like San Antonio and Detroit or whatever. Who they're basically tanking. They're losing on the road purposely. But outside of that, the Warriors are terrible. The Warriors won what 11 road games this year. So they are terrible, but they're also like 3rd best in the league at
I was
home.
gonna
So we
say,
will fight.
and also too. I mean, they're really at home. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of at home. If you
Well,
look at
and
it, like yeah,
in the travel, you're not gonna have to travel as much. I mean, even
yeah,
with Sacramento, you're not gonna have to. Like right now, we're playing an East Coast team. They're the Memphis Grizzlies. They're in Memphis. Like we have to. Like that's. I mean, even the Warriors last year complained about it. Even the Warriors, Draymond Green has talked about how like it sucks having to play Memphis because you literally have to fly. Like it's like as if you're playing an East Coast team because you essentially are. So, but if we either of these teams, the Kings or the Warriors, all those games are basically going to be like it's light travel, which means you get better sleep, which means you get better rest. I mean, they could take a bus to Golden State. You know what I mean? Like they could take a bus to Sacramento, like if they needed to. I mean, they'll fly, but they can. It's like next door. It's
yeah,
just but it's just in general, like, they like the Lakers, I think they match up well. We've beaten the Kings too. We've shown we can beat the Kings. Um, I just think we match up well against both those teams. Neither of those teams play good defense. I've had a lot of people talk about like their concerns with like the pace that they play and stuff like that. But everything's inflated in that series because it's 2 teams that play exactly the same way, right?
mhm,
Like both teams want to go 100 miles an hour as fast as possible. One team is super young that is just running up and down the court as much as possible, and another team is just they want to get out and transition and jack up threes, right? Like it's 2 identical teams playing against each other. When
yeah,
either of those teams play the Lakers, it's not going to be 2 identical teams going against each other. Those scores will probably still be high because the Kings and the Warriors can't play defense. So the Lakers are going to score a bunch of points. And I just trust if the game comes down to it, you're going to have, tight games.
yeah,
Who do I trust more to get a stop and close out those games? I trust LeBron James and Anthony Davis to close out those games. And I trust the Lakers and their elite defense. I mean, their defense has been incredible in this playoff series.
yeah,
I trust that defense to stop and slow down the Warriors, right? What they're gonna do is they're gonna box in one Steph Curry with Jared Vanderbilt, and Jared Vanderbilt's gonna have to chase around him. And then when he's not in it, it's gonna be Steph. It's gonna be it's gonna be
Sorry.
Schroeder. They'll throw Shooter on him, and they're just gonna just run guys at him. I wouldn't even mind seeing Shaq get thrown in, and he guards him for a couple possessions or whatever, just to wear him down. You could actually make an argument. It might be easier for our guys. I'm not saying that it's easier to guard Steph than or Ja than Steph, but for our team, it might be easier for us to guard Steph than it is
Yeah.
for Ja and like De'Aaron Fox, because De'Aaron Fox and
No, no,
Ja
no.
they
Yeah.
want to
Well,
they want to blow by. They want to just run. And D'Lo isn't very quick. Reeves isn't very quick. Vando, he's just long and lengthy, so he's able to kind of stride with them. But he's not like light speed. He's not up and down, right? But Steph is just going to be coming off all these ball screens, double
yeah.
screens. He's just running around. So, but we have guys that are more switchable, right? Like Reeves you don't have, like, it's hard to switch on Ja because he can just blow right by D'Lo. He could just blow right by Rui. He could just blow right by. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. But with Steph, yes, his first step is quick. He can get to the basket. I'm not saying he can't, but it's easier to recover. It's easier for us to switch, Troy Brown or a Reeves or a D'Lo on him, and he can at least stay in front of him. Steph is still amazing. Steph is still going to score and get his numbers, but I just think it's easier to game plan for him than it is to game plan for Ja, because yes, Ja is a lot more limited, but it's just you have to have the speed to keep up with him. And if you don't, it becomes a problem. Again, not saying Steph is night and day the better player. I'm just saying, I just think for this Lakers team, the way that this Lakers team is built, I think they match up better to Steph Curry than they do like a De'Aaron Fox, right? De'Aaron Fox and Steph are both going to get theirs. Not my concern. They're both going to get their boys. It's just, can we keep them modest? Can we keep Steph from going off for 50? I just think it'd be easier to do that. But just in general, like, there's also a ton of concerns with the Warriors, right? Like their depth, their bench, their defense, like all of those things. I just think the Lakers match up really well to the Warriors. But real quick, and then unless you have something specific you want to talk about, I wanted to talk about LeBron James, because we talked about Anthony Davis, we talked about D'Lo saving the day. We hyped up Reeves and Rui, but LeBron James has been great. I mean, he closed the game out, hit that huge, incredible shot. I mean, the mechanics and the technical of just like getting it up and high off the glass, so that way Triple J couldn't block it. Who he was having a block party all game. That shot is probably one of the hardest shots I've ever seen anybody make. And in a glance, it might not look like it, because you might just be thinking like, oh, he just made a layup. Like, how is that hard? It wasn't just a layup. I mean, you have a guy in Triple J who's the defensive player of the year, who's just, he can get up there and block. You have to hit that perfectly. It's not as simple as just like figure roll off the glass and boom, it's easy money. Like, no, you have to get that up, out of reach for Triple J. And he did it.
There's only been a couple of players that I have seen that have been able to do that. Like,
dude, it's incredible.
Like very, very few. Like Steph does it a lot, but like to be honest with you, I haven't seen that from LeBron. Like, I don't know if I've. Yeah, that was cool.
A shot like that, I mean, he hasn't done that in a while, but
I was gonna say,
like LeBron played a brilliant game, right? So like LeBron is clearly saving himself, right? And here's the thing, and I hope we get there, so that way I can go, hey, I've said this, but you may remember, and some people in the chat, because I've said it here and I've said it on my channel, I said that I think if the Lakers make it to the Western Conference Finals, that I think the Lakers win the NBA championship.
Oh, you said it multiple times.
Yes.
And I'll go back. Trust me, if we make it, I'll go back and clip it for you.
Please. And the reason I think that is because I think LeBron James is going to play like 27-year-old LeBron James. I think we're going to see. I think he is having his reserves, because he's been very like. When have you ever seen LeBron be this passive? He's letting other guys get. He's letting other guys step up. Which, credit LeBron for allowing guys to do that. Even when he's not having his shot, he's still affecting the game in other ways. He's the first player since Shaquille O'Neal to have a 20-20 game for the Lakers back in like 2004 or whatever. So, you watch LeBron and he's not. I mean, LeBron could put in this series. LeBron could score 100 points in this series. Like, literally, dude, LeBron's shooting like 50% from the field and he's shooting like 20% from three. So that means he's shooting like 80% from from anything outside of the 3-point line. Like
Yeah.
literally. So that means he's basically scoring every time he puts his head down and gets to the basket. And I really think that that's going to be. I think he's going to continue to play that way. You'll see these spurts that we saw of like, okay, I need to take over. I need to close this game
Well,
out.
yeah, especially in this game or this last game and the game before that, it was more so like, hey, let me,
Yeah. I just I do. I think you're gonna get those spurts. I think if we make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think you're gonna see LeBron James say, okay, I need to win 8 games. That's it. 8 games. I need to turn it on for 8 games. And I really think LeBron's going to do that. I think you're going to see in the Western Conference Finals, maybe probably not game one, but I think game two, game three, game four, the two LA games and that game two, I think you see a LeBron James that you look at and you go, man, that's 2016 LeBron or 2018 LeBron. I really do. I think you're going to see that. You may even see it tomorrow because LeBron might look at this and go, "Hey, like we need to win this game, right? I don't want to go back to LA. I want to get the rest because again, the Warriors and Kings are probably going to go 7 games. So if they go 7 games, if the Lakers win tomorrow, they get like 5 to 7 days rest.
I was gonna ask too. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because
The rest,
well, here's the thing. This team have shown obviously when they get rest, they play very well. But however, in the playoffs, I feel like it's a little different because let's say the Warriors series go 7, Warriors come out on top because they've been in night in and night out battles. I feel like, and then you're facing a team with rest. That first game may be a little,
yes, but I get exactly what you're saying.
like
You got
like
one.
I get
You got
it,
one
playoffs,
team.
but you're just in
No,
the
no,
cobwebs because like you're tired.
here, I can summarize exactly what you're saying. One team has momentum and is in rhythm, and
Yeah,
one team isn't because of resting. You got the Warriors and the Kings. They play 7 games. They just came out of a game 2 games ago, and they come and play. And you see it all the time, right? You see a team, they'll sit 4 or 5 days, and they're flat because they're at. That's why it's a 7 game series, though, because that'll balance out over 7 games. But what it does is it gives LeBron and AD more than anything. Not really worried about Austin Reeves and D'Lo and Rui and Troy and all. I'm not worried about those guys. It's about LeBron and AD, keeping them as healthy as possible. And they have been getting banged up in this series more than they will in probably any other series other than if we play like the Celtics, right? So my
you really
thing
think
is that
so? Not Denver? You don't think Denver is going to be a little? We knew that this was
no,
going to be a
Denver's
tough series,
terrible.
but
Denver's terrible defensively, and they have no bench.
specifically
Like Denver's very
talking about
far.
AD though, that's the only thing.
No, not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll be a little back and forth, and Jokic is going to be physical, and AD's he's gonna have to bang with them, but not really worried about it. Like I'm not. Like it's more about getting them the rest and having that. Like even if the Lakers come out flat for game one, it's fine. Take the L game one. Use that game to get in rhythm, get the rust off, and now you're ready to go game two. Right? That's what it is. But in the same breath, there's also the possibility of like what we saw in game one with the Lakers, right? They got all this rest. They came out and they were balling.
That's true.
Right.
That's
So
true.
and a lot of it was Anthony Davis and LeBron James were rested, we're healthy, we're ready to go. And so I think that that's something that is going to be very helpful, right? It's more so about LeBron James and Anthony Davis getting as much rest as possible, getting as much, just being able to rest their minds, rest their bodies, AD with his hip, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's all like those are all very important and significant things. So it's more so about that than, like I said, getting the other guys rest. Like the other guys are young, like they should be able to go. Like everyone else is like 26. Like you should be fine. Like this is your time to shine. So yeah, I'm not really worried about it there. But again, it's just the heroics that LeBron has provided has
Yeah.
been quite a spectacle, right? I mean, he's impacting the game in different ways than we're used to seeing, and he's also being very like methodical. Like, look, I'm not a fan of him. He's still shooting too many threes, in my opinion. He's still, you know, shooting early into the shot clock. Like, there's still a lot of things that drive me crazy that I'm like, come on, LeBron. But look, LeBron has the highest IQ ever when it comes to the game of basketball. There's a reason he's doing it. Like, LeBron doesn't do anything just to do it. Like, LeBron, you don't think that we all see LeBron can go and just go get a bucket every possession and he doesn't? No, of course not. LeBron knows as well as anybody that, like, I can just go walk and go get a bucket. But that's exhausting. You're getting banged up. He still has the foot issue. According to him, he was supposed to have season-ending surgery. So I think I really do, and I could be completely wrong, and we'll see. We'll see in a month, but I really think LeBron's looking at it and going, I'm not going to be able to be super cyborg LeBron for 16 games, but I can be super cyborg LeBron for 7 or 8 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can be cyborg LeBron for most of those. So I think LeBron is just, he's conserving his energy, which he's exerting on the defensive end, which also makes you tired. I think he's playing tougher. He's like, I'm going to lock down defensively. I'm going to help in other ways. I'm going to get other guys going and set up because I need them to get going and I need them to build confidence if I'm going to go for this title run here. And then I think he's going to have everybody clicking. Everything's going to be going smooth. Everyone's going to be locked in and have an understanding because we're only going to get better as the season progresses. That's all it's good. We're only going to get better because everyone's going to figure it out. The chemistry is going to get better, everything. So I think if we make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think LeBron James is going to say, okay, I need to, like, here's my moment to turn it on. I think, so let's say we play Denver, right?
Yeah.
I think game one, LeBron's going to play his normal game where he just, whatever happens, happens. And if the Lakers win that game, I think LeBron does it again. If the Lakers lose that game, I think he turns it up a little bit. And I think the Lakers win game 2. And then I think in LA for games 3 and 4, I think you're going to see LeBron not turn it up a little bit, but I mean crank it up. And I think LeBron's going to establish himself early. I wouldn't be shocked if he has the first 10, 20 points. And I think the Lakers are going to beat Denver in 5 or 6 games. And then he's going to be in the NBA Finals. He's going to do the same thing again. And I think in the NBA Finals, LeBron's going to average 28, 8, and 8. Because LeBron's only averaging 20 points, 21 points or whatever in this series, right? I think every series you're going to see him kind of tick it up a little bit, and then we get to that Western Conference, and I think it's go time. I really do. I think he's going to be like, let's go. And I think he's going to pick that up. I think he's going to pick his spots. Again, he's going to pick his spots. I think he's going to need the Lakers to win a game or two with him just being out there. But I do think once they get that game, I think LeBron will have those 2 or 3 games where he's, okay, it's takeover time. And it might not be the entirety of the game, but I think you'll see it. I think, hey, it's a tight game here, 4th quarter, give me the ball, let me take over. And you saw that in this game, right? You saw LeBron directing everybody. You saw him telling, hey, come here on my hip, you go over here, not here. He had everything in control. He knew exactly what Memphis was trying to do. That's why, and even in the stream, I had some people that were why didn't the coach, do this or for that and late in the game? And I was like, because the coach was no longer coaching. Darvin Ham has said, and he's right. When you have LeBron James on your team and it's late in games, you don't coach LeBron James. You tell everybody, listen to LeBron James. What happened in that other Memphis game, right? LeBron sat on the bench and said, give me the clipboard. And Darvin Ham handed him the clipboard. Everyone stood around. He drew up a play. And guess what that play was? It was a bucket in that game that got us, that ended up with, you have arguably the greatest basketball mind ever. He has seen stuff. That's why it's so hard for him to relate to coaches, because he's smarter than all the coaches. He is. That's why he's never had this great coach, because Name me a coach that's smarter than he is. Like maybe Pop, maybe Phil Jackson, but even they would probably submit to LeBron because he's seeing things because he's in the game. He's seeing things that nobody else is seeing. He knows all of their plays before they even do it. He knows what 3 plays they're going to run the next down the stretch. Like LeBron is that guy. So you don't coach him. You let him coach. And what did you see? You saw him coaching. You saw him talking to Shooter and telling Shooter. You saw him pull over Reeves and point something out to Reeves. Like all of those things are huge because he's the one that's seeing everything. He knows more than anybody. So I think you're just going to continue to see LeBron put on a clinic because that's what he's done. It's not a noticeable clinic, right? It's not a clinic like to one that's. But my point is like regardless, I really think we win. I really believe we're going to go to the NBA Finals. I'm not saying we're going to win it yet because I do think Boston is a tough matchup, but they're unreliable. I mean, they just lost to Atlanta. So I don't know. They're not going to lose that series, but they just lost in Boston to Atlanta. Trae Young, shout out to him, man. That dude, mama, there goes that man. But because seriously, like we're gonna beat Memphis. Then we play the Warriors and the Kings, which again, neither of those teams play the defense the way that they do. The real test is going to be, can we slow them down, those offenses down, because they're just such high-powered offenses.
Yeah.
If we beat the Warriors or the Kings, the Nuggets and the Suns are screwed. They're screwed because neither of those teams have the offense that the Kings and the Warriors have. So we'll have already played a better offense and a better defense than both of those teams and beat both of those teams. I don't see Phoenix. Phoenix is a disaster right now. They're not very good at all. At all. They have no bench. They're playing Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Kevin Durant's number 1 in the league right now in playoff minutes, and Devin Booker's number 2, or vice versa, something like that. Basically, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are number 1 and 2 in playoff minutes. They have no bench. Chris Paul is number 9. Because they have nobody else to play. Yeah, they don't have anything. They're terrible. They're struggling to beat Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Like, it's just, I'm not worried about Phoenix. I think Phoenix gets ran through by Denver, but Denver has all their flaws and all their issues, and we match up beautifully against Denver.
Believe it or not, I believe Denver, my opinion, besides this series, besides the Grizzlies series, that might be the easiest, on our division, that might be the easiest matchup.
It just really might.
Because if you think about it, listen, we beat them, I believe twice before we got this squad. And we've already made so many adjustments.
We beat them without Anthony Davis, and we beat them without LeBron.
Well, that's my point. We just have answers for them.
Well, and it's just they don't play defense. They're not very deep either. They're not that good offensively. And again, everyone thought Denver was going to beat us in the bubble year, and it's the exact same team. They have a couple new guys, but they don't they didn't go and get some major acquisitions since then. They got a couple nice perimeter guys, stuff like that. It's just Denver, the Nuggets might be the Western Conference matchup, whether it's the Suns or it's the Nuggets, might be the easiest series we play. You might not be wrong about that at all, because we're not going to play another defensive team like Memphis. Memphis is night and away the best defensive team that we could possibly play. And
they're going to be our scrappiest matchup for sure. They're going to be our most gritty,
physical,
gritty
exactly. Matchup. The Suns,
because in this league, they're the closest thing we're going to get to the Detroit Bad Boys. I think they're the closest, probably.
Yeah, the Suns and the Nuggets have nowhere near those defenses, and they have nowhere near the offenses that Golden State and the Sacramento Kings have. I mean, especially Sacramento. Sacramento has a historically good offense, right? So, literally, we just played our toughest defensive matchup. In the second round, we're going to play our toughest offensive matchup. And if we beat both of those, there is nothing that Denver or the Phoenix Suns can do to us that we haven't already faced, but better.
Yeah.
so they're going to be worse than both of those teams combined in those areas. They're going to be worse offensively than the two teams, and they're going to be worse defensively than the Grizzlies. So it's just there's not going to be anything that's surprising. Is my point. So I really think if we do our job, I think we win. I think we come out the West. I genuinely do.
And you would rather see, out of everybody on the East, you would rather see Celtics over anybody, right? I'm assuming.
No, I'd rather see Philly.
Are you sure?
In a perfect world.
Yeah, but I think the true. I mean,
East. If Philly makes it out the East, I'm gonna be jumping up and down like a little kid on Christmas, like because Philly's not very good, and they might. I mean, Embiid's hobbled, so that's good for the Lakers, but like. Boston has all their problems, and they're going to be trying to kill each other. Miami's about to eliminate the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to say that entirely.
Wait, and I was about to ask you about that. How do you feel about that? Is that just crazy to you? Like, did anybody see this happening?
No, because they didn't play Giannis for the first 3 games. So I mean, and Milwaukee's not very good without him. So and he came in this game, but he wasn't super crazy dominant. And Budenholzer just forgot that timeouts existed, and it was a disaster. Like they beat themselves. Like Miami didn't win that game. Like Boston or Milwaukee just lost it. But
do you think
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler was that guy.
Well, yeah, that's Jimmy Bucket. That's Jimmy Bucket.
Dude, that guy is just he's your favorite player.
Yo, like, playoff Jimmy though. Playoff Jimmy's crazy though.
But like, look. You can't rule out Milwaukee's good enough with Giannis to win 3.
Do you think that I was about to say? Do you think they're going to come back from 3-1?
They can. Yeah, absolutely, they can. I don't think they will. I really don't. I think
no team has ever. There's been a few teams that have done that.
Yeah. 12 teams have done it. So, I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that that Memphis wins this next game. Or not Memphis, sorry. Milwaukee wins this next game. I wouldn't be shocked if Miami wins. If Miami loses, it's going to come down to game 6. If Miami loses in Miami, then Milwaukee's going to win that series. But if they get it done, I mean, obviously if they get it done in Miami, then series is over. But I think that's their one shot. And I think you'll see Jimmy Butler have another 60-point game. I really do. I think very likely. I think Jimmy in this Milwaukee game, I wouldn't be shocked if he has 15 points because he's going to be exhausted from the last game. I think he's going to know I would have to put up 70 for us to win this game. Let me keep it in the reserve and let's go do this in Miami. And I think also everyone's going to play better in Miami. I just do. So if they end up beating Milwaukee, that's massive. Yeah. Boston and Philly are going to kill each other. Also, fun fact: if Miami wins, the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference because the Knicks are going to run through Miami. I mean, Miami will win a game or two, but the Knicks are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, which I think is hilarious. And maybe in hindsight, I'll have to eat my words, but I don't think Miami's going to be able to beat the Knicks. So the Knicks.
You think so?
100%. I really don't. My opinion. Again, I could be completely wrong. I do not think they could beat the Knicks. I think the Knicks have too much offensive firepower. I think they match up too well. I think they're more physical. They're bigger. I mean, everything. Jimmy Butler needs another star. Miami needs another star desperately. If they had another star, they would be great. And they're not going to have Tyler Hero again for that series. That's going to hurt. I'm telling you. Miami loses that series, and Jimmy Butler is probably going to be exhausted by the time he's done with this series because he's going to have to have another heroic game for them to eliminate Milwaukee. Miami's done in the second round against the Knicks. So then it's just the Knicks. It's the Knicks or I think Boston. I think Boston beats Philly, and then I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to beat Boston. And so I think Boston is going to be in the West. I think Boston will be in the NBA Finals, and I think that. I think the Lakers come out, and then I think we get a Lakers-Boston Finals. Winner gets number 18. And don't get me wrong, I'm worried about Boston. I think Boston's more beatable than Milwaukee though. Like that's why I say I want to
See,
play
and
Boston.
and that's why I feel like we got the better of the two because looking at this Milwaukee series, I'm like, man, if Milwaukee gets out the way, we could just play Boston. I would I would much rather play Boston than play
Boston's more predictable too. Like you know what Boston's gonna do, and they're inexperienced. They still show signs of that, and on top of that, they collapse under pressure, like regularly,
Yeah.
even
Mhm.
this year. So I mean, I just think that I'm not saying that Boston can't be. I mean, they're good. Like don't get me wrong, they're very good, but I just think that it's the same reason I said the Warriors would beat Boston in the NBA Finals. I was preaching to everybody, take the Warriors to win that series. Even when they were up, even when they were down 2-1, I was like, hammer that because what's going to happen is the Celtics, they're not disciplined enough, and when things start going crazy and things start going bad, it's just going to get worse. And that's exactly what happened in that series because the Warriors they just keep playing their game, whether they're up 20 or they're down 20.
That's true.
They're a well-oiled machine. So
Yeah.
and the Lakers, they'll be the same way. Because you'll have LeBron James. LeBron James, if he gets into that Boston series. And the Lakers should have beaten Boston. That's the game that you don't think LeBron's gonna be pissed about that? You don't think LeBron's gonna show up and be like, okay, I'm winning game one. And again, I think LeBron will have his reserves, and I think he's gonna know this is it. This is my chance. I'm in the finals. I cannot I lost to the Warriors, all that stuff, blah 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 blah. Like right, those were historically great teams. What if LeBron James beats the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals? I don't think there's anything else that can greater impact his legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't already think he's the greatest player ever, if he wins the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics as a Laker in year 20, age 38. I mean, there's never been a player as good as that. I mean, look, Michael Jordan was a shell of himself at this time of his career. And look, I mean, just you're not just talking about him just being great in longevity. You're talking about the history of the Lakers Celtics rivalry, him in a Lakers jersey, just everything. All the Lakers greats have essentially beaten the war. Like Kobe beat the Celtics, right? Magic and Kareem, right? Like every generation has essentially beaten the Celtics at one point in their tenure. Like that puts LeBron in that. It does so much. The impact. Lakers break the tiebreaker. They break the tiebreaker of because Lakers and Celtics both have 17 NBA championships. So Lakers would get the 18th. So LeBron gets his fifth. LeBron gets his fifth. Lakers get number 18. It just everything. He broke the record. This would be arguably the greatest regular season accomplishment in NBA history. He breaks what was considered an unbreakable record in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at 38 years old in year 20. Then takes and leads the Lakers from a 2-10 record to having a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wins in the Western Conference, makes it to the NBA championship, plays the Boston Celtics, beats the Boston Celtics, very likely wins finals MVP unless Anthony Davis has some historic run. I mean, you're talking about potentially the greatest NBA season ever.
I feel like it's even close. Like if like the MVP between like AD and LeBron are close, I feel like they're still going to give it to LeBron just because it's a story.
It's the story, exactly. It's the narrative, it's the headline.
And I'll just come on record and say, like, I mean, you already know how I feel about LeBron. If LeBron, like you said, if LeBron does that and LeBron beats the Celtics, I got nothing more to say.
There's no more conversation. There's not.
I will dust my hands, and I promise you, me and you will never have that convo again. I will have nothing to say.
I don't know how anyone could. I mean, seriously, because I mean that's like an insane accomplishment. For him to do that, I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's a long ways away. But anyway, let's dive into the chat real quick before we get out of here, because we're like 2 minutes from an hour. But Here, let's power through this real quick. Yeah, I was just talking about the Markel. Trey Young, just chef kiss. Dude was incredible.
Talk
What's
to
going
that
on?
man, nice.
Yes. What's going on? Ready Player One. Memphis shook Lakers in 5. Let's get it. Physical game favors us. Yeah. We need to come out desperate and not passive. Agreed. Agreed. Decline Malik's option. Sign Jordan Clarkson. I'm not really big on Jordan Clarkson. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Also, I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it. I don't know if it would work like that because the Lakers don't have, even if they decline Malik's option, I'm pretty sure the Lakers are over the salary cap between LeBron, AD. They got to re-sign D'Lo. Got to re-sign Rui Reeves. They're going to have to operate as an above the cap team either way. I don't know if it works like that, but
You
I also
know,
am not
go
big
ahead,
on.
go ahead.
I agree with Markel where he said inefficient. He's not as inefficient as Malik. Jordan Clarkson is better than Malik Monk. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a very efficient player. Period. And he played with LeBron before, and it didn't really work. So that's something else to keep in mind. He wasn't very good next to LeBron James. Granted, that was several years ago, but still. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, you know who I want on our team? If like it's just like a backup role player, Luke Kennard. I really do.
Oh, I would love Luke Kennard, especially the way Luke Kennard always plays like Steph Curry against us for whatever reason. Yeah, we do. We need. Look. I'll get into it. I'll touch on it in a second. Yeah. I think Terrence is right here. I think if they let him go, we don't have the cap to replace it. To turn Tenny. What's up, Buck? I was actually upset when Ham put D'Lo back, and glad I was wrong. Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like, what? I didn't mind that he put him back in. I just was like, why did you take him out for Rui? And then D'Lo, like he said, D'Lo saved us. Tillman is a solid player. Tillman's a free agent. I think he'll get more than the vet minimum, but he's a free agent. Did it hurt when Whiteman can't jump trailer during the commercial? Dude, I'm so like, that's one of my favorite basketball movies ever. It's one of my favorite movies, period, ever. And they made a remake with Jack Harlow, and I don't
I
even
need
know
to
who they
watch
are.
it. I need to watch it.
You got to watch the original first, because you watch the original and then you're gonna hate the remake. Rui still needs more minutes, and Dennis tried to throw OT. Oh, dude, Dennis was trying this whole sell hard. The thing with Rui and Austin Reeves, so Darvin Ham is playing them sparingly in the first like 3 quarters, so he can run them the entirety of the fourth. Um, that's kind of the game plan. That's what he wants to do. That's why Austin Reeves is only like he'll only play like 15 minutes or whatever in like the first half or first 3 quarters, and then he's playing the entire fourth quarter because Rui, Rui, very likely D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, LeBron, and AD are going to be our closing five. That'll very likely be how we finish games. What's up, you guys? Get the likes up. Job not finished. 13 more to go. Banner 18 this year. Let's get it. And yes, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. And yes, we got to get this. Got to get this. We're job's not finished. We're getting there though. Getting there slowly but surely. Triple J had 5 blocks. LeBron made 2 big layups on him though. Yeah, massive, massive. We also don't win that game without Dennis. Yeah, that's true. It's good. Dennis was solid, but he did try to sell at the end. He tried to make up for all the good he did down the stretch. When Vando and AD are on the court together, Triple J sags on AD and packs the paint. It's what caused the 14-1 run for the half. Rui has to get those minutes. I can understand that. Are the Lakers traveling today or tomorrow? They should be traveling this morning, usually. I think they have left. They might have left after last night, but usually they let them sleep in their own beds that night and then off to the game. But they might have. Arm on shoulder to block shots equals triple JFX. It's a parade. What's going on? What's going on, Snorlax? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? Good. How are you? We are wonderful. What's good, chat? What's going on, King? Appreciate you. Warriors come out. Warriors come out.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't understand this reference. No. I have no idea where this comes from.
You need to get cultured, okay?
I've heard of it before, but I have no idea.
I actually had a basketball team named after this movie, the Warriors. LeBron has had better talent, talented. Oh, and we actually used to say that when we do that. We were what were we? Because we were sponsored. We were sponsored by was it Imagine This? So we were like we were the Imagine This Warriors,
Okay.
and we'd always like that's what we'd always do. Like somebody would start Warriors come out and play, and then we'd all come out. Like man, those are the good old days. All the hype days. LeBron. Now I'm fat and ugly. LeBron has had better talent teams, but this is the most complete team. This might be the most complete team LeBron's ever played on. I agree with everything you said, but the Kings also have no one to even slow down Bron and AD. Oh no, I'm not worried about them defending us at all. At least the Warriors have Wiggins for Bron and Draymond for AD. Obviously, neither of those two are stopping Bron and AD, but they're much better suited than literally anyone. The Kings regarding those two. Yeah, no, I get your point. I do. But the Kings just high powered offense. Like I just feel like the Kings are more unpredictable. Like they can attack you more, right, than the Warriors can. Like I just feel like the Kings they have more. Like you can dump it down to Sabonis and he can just go get a bucket, or they can knock down the three ball. You got Fox who can just light speed down the court. Like I don't know. I worry about the Kings offense more than the Warriors. I think the Warriors you kind of have an understanding of how they're going to play. That doesn't mean you could stop them, right? The Warriors are the Warriors for a reason, but it is something that I just think I just have a little more concern. I do too. Go 7. I need LeBron to put his game to bed tomorrow. Yeah. 80's hip needs rest. Yeah, I agreed. I think hip is just sore. Yeah. Lakers, baby. That's right, Melvin. If LeBron turns it up next game, we can win just 1-2 game series. Yeah. He's just got it. Just got to do it. I'm not worried about Boston. Boston, not a problem. We should have won. If it wasn't for the refs, we would have won that game. And we were the last ones to win when we faced each other in the finals. So they haven't really owned us. Lakers all day and all night. Yes. Lakers winning the chip. Let's get it. I don't know why Ham doesn't put Walker instead of Beasley, because Beasley has been very good defensively in this series and provides better spacing. And yeah, Lonnie isn't right. Am I the only one that low-key wants a LA versus Miami 2020 rematch? How crazy would it be if the 7th seed in the West and the 8th seed in the East both played in the finals? Then you got to play playoff LeBron versus playoff Jimmy in the finals. Obviously, LA and Boston would be insane, but LA versus Miami would be underrated, in my opinion. But to mention it also both teams beating the bubble finals allegations. Yeah, I mean, it would kind of like change that. But I mean, the Lakers especially are just such a different team compared to them. But I will say, I would love to see it. The problem is that we would probably run through Miami, and
that would be
the whole world would say, oh, like I want to play Boston, because what are they going to say? Boston was just in the NBA Finals. They've been, the best team all year. And we beat them in the NBA Finals. Where if we play Miami, people are going to be like, Miami's trash. Da 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 da. Of course, you should have beaten them. They only got there because Giannis got hurt, and the Sixers beat the Celtics, and so Miami only had to play a beat up Joel Embiid on one leg. Like I can already hear all the nonsense. It's because the narrative that I want 80. To win Finals MVP. I would like AD to win Finals MVP. I'd like him to be good enough to win Finals MVP. But yeah, I think if LeBron is anywhere close, I think
yeah.
Maybe Jake will get this one. You don't turn your back on family.
Oh, of course. Fast and Furious, of course. Oh yeah.
You almost had me. You never had.
You never had me.
You never had your car.
Granny shifted, not double clutching like it should. Let's throw back. I'm gonna watch that movie tonight. That's
Raquel says I would hold my breath. Jake needs to up his movie game.
Nah, I know that one, and I'm gonna.
Dude, you know what blows me away? What blows me away is you worked at a movie theater. You managed a movie theater for a minute, like.
I'm telling you, you would be very concerned for me if you knew the amount of movies. Like it drives my girlfriend crazy. Like if you knew the amount of movies I have not seen, you would be like, what?
Dude, dude. I know
Okay,
every
yeah.
time, like when we were talking to
I've
something, like
never
the other
seen
day, you were
Beetlejuice.
like, I said something, and you were, yeah, was that it? Like we were talking the other day, and I was like, yeah, oh, they're doing this or whatever, and you were like, oh, I haven't even seen the first one. And I was like, what? like I thought like when you were born, they like show you that in the waiting room. Like I thought, like I was like, what are you talking about? Like, but yeah. It is. It's just that's what just like if you were like, there's nothing wrong. Like I know plenty of people that haven't seen a bunch of movies, but you used to work in a movie theater. You used to manage a movie theater. You got to see movies. Like you have family. Do y'all know what time we play tomorrow? Yeah, it's I think it's at 7:30 Eastern time. So yeah, so it's an early game. Is it 7:30 Eastern time? We play the afternoon game. Is that what's up? Let's see. I'll tell you exactly. Yeah, no, we play at 4:30. 4:30 TNT. We're the first game. Noise. Tyler's arm gets possessed when he
Yo,
gets going.
yo, good.
Uh,
Yo, go home.
almost everyone knows the Fast and Furious quotes.
Oh man.
uh, I I won't say who it was because I don't know if they want me to share this, but edited somebody edited a video of me and from Talladega Nights where he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands, and
Wait,
and it
stop.
was
Somebody
and
from the chat?
it was hilarious. No, it's just somebody. I don't like I said.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't want to put it out there in case they don't want me to let them know. If they don't care, then I'll say who it is. But they edited it. It was actually pretty funny. It had me dying. I thought it was
Talladega
hilarious.
Nights. I've never seen that one
Yeah.
either.
See, oh man, see, you don't even get the reference. But I'm sure some people in the chat. But anyway, there's a scene where he's like talking on the podium, and he's like, like, what do I do with my hands? And he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And like, yeah, and then like he's like talking, and he like brings his hands up and just has them here like this. And then the guy like pushes his hand. I don't know. It was funny. It was a funny edit that somebody sent me, and I just thought it was funny. I was like, that's great. Like it had me cracking up, but because it does. It it wasn't me. It was one arm man. But yeah. Anyway, any party words before we get out of here?
Game. The next game, we got it. We're winning it. Closing out the series. Calling it. And we move on to the Warriors. I'm locking it in.
All right, Warriors. Okay, well, if we're gonna go that far, how many games do we beat? Do we beat the Warriors, or do you think we beat the Warriors?
7-game series, us, but like 7-game series, yeah. Just because there's never been, I think, a greater rival dynasty. I mean, Magic and Bird were nice to watch. But I think LeBron and Steph are like the funny, like the craziest rivals. He hasn't seen Talladega Nights. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you would be very, very shocked in the amount of movies I've not seen.
Not first or last, Ricky Bobby. That's what I always. That's where I always say that. You know, you always hear me say, "You're not first or last, Ricky Bobby." Anyway, yeah, no, I agree with you. See, I actually feel with the Warriors series, I feel if we don't win in 6, we don't win that series. Like I don't think we beat Golden State in Game 7. I'm not saying we can't. I mean, look, LeBron did. LeBron did it, but he also did it with Kyrie and and Klay Thompson, or not Klay Thompson, Kyrie and Kevin Love. But I do. I think if we're gonna beat the Warriors, I think we win one of the same way as this Grizzlies. I think we win one of those splits in Golden State. We win both games in LA, and then we just win the rest of our LA games. Because I don't think the Warriors will beat us at home. So I think we either have to steal one of those first 2 games, and then we're good. And I think we go up 3-1. I think the Warriors beat us in in Golden State, and then we come back to LA and we close it out in LA. I think that's how it's going to have to go if we beat them. I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
yeah,
I think that's one of those things. But anyway, all right. Anyway, everyone tuned in again on your way out. Don't forget to like this video. Hit that subscribe button too if you haven't yet. Greatly appreciate that. But thank you all very much for hanging out with us, and I will see you guys for tomorrow. I'll see you for the game, the live game stream. I'm starting to stream the games live, just the box scores, and then we talk and hang out. But yeah, come join me over there, and then afterwards, of course, the post game stream. But I will see you guys in the next.